John Walker did nothing wrong, according to 68% of fans. Of course, we are talking about one of the members of the Thunderbolts, now known as the New Avengers. This has been a widely circulated debate. Did John Walker go too far in executing a terrorist in public view? For those who need a quick refresher, John Walker, a decorated US soldier turned super soldier, was handpicked to carry the Captain America shield in the Falcon and Winter Soldier. During a high-stakes clash with the Flag Smashers, a radical terrorist group led by Karli Morgenthau, Walker's world shattered. His best friend and partner, Lamar Hoskins, aka Battlestar, was killed by a super-powered Flag Smasher in a brutal fight. Moments later, fueled by grief and the super soldier serum coursing through his veins, Walker chased down Nico, a Flag Smasher complicit in the group's violence. As Nico raised his hands, pleading "It wasn't me," Walker delivered lethal justice with the iconic shield, splattering blood in full view of a stunned crowd. And a lot of videos went trending on TikTok that day. It resulted in John Walker being court-martialed and losing his Captain America title. Those who say John was justified say a terrorist who just killed has to be taken out any means necessary. As a super soldier, he is literally a walking weapon. Moments before, he threw a water fountain at John for merely chasing him, a move that would have taken out anyone not granted with the super soldier serum. Let's be clear, the Flag Smashers were terrorists. They were taking hostages to achieve their ends. If we're going to clutch our pearls at Walker, we should at least acknowledge the context. These victims weren't innocent civilians. Just moments prior, they had killed a US soldier, Lamar Hoskins. In a real conflict, especially when one is using lethal force, taking out a threat is often seen as doing one's duty. When you look at when Steve Rogers was in a similar situation with Crossbones in Captain America Civil War, not taking him out led to the end of countless civilians. That didn't stop Steve Rogers earlier in the film from taking out many Hydra personnel. His public persona was protected since this happened on a boat in the middle of nowhere, away from the prying eyes of TikTok. Back to John. Consider how he and the Flag Smasher were surrounded by a crowd of people. What if the terrorist had a hidden weapon, a self-detonation device, or the ability to break free and wreak havoc? The Flag Smasher's track record, blowing up buildings and taking out innocents, suggested they were capable of anything. With a crowd of people, there could have been a lot of casualties if the Flag Smasher had any type of self-detonation devices or got free of Walker's hold. Many who defend John argue in real-world military protocols, lethal force is authorized against high-value targets. Since he was an active soldier with a unique position, this should have applied to him. Reminder, he was not allowed to speak at his own defense, although he tried. One YouTuber, Mr. JOY, pointed out Thor got cheers for beheading a defenseless Thanos, but John Walker gets publicly humiliated for taking out a terrorist. John did what had to be done. Those who disagree say he had the ability to stop him without using lethal force. That doing so in public disgraced the Captain America mantle more than Florida disgraces America every time a guy on bath salts tries to marry an alligator. Others say John was not justified because he could have taken in the Flag Smasher in for questioning, which could have possibly led to the arrest of other Flag Smashers without widespread violence that ultimately followed. The show, Falcon and Winter Soldier, portrayed the Flag Smashers as having sad backgrounds and complicated motivations, but they were still psychopaths who were either facing life in prison or the death penalty. Iron Man breaking international laws by taking out terrorists on foreign lands, approved because he made it look cool. Daredevil throwing a guy off a roof, make him an Avenger. Hawkeye going on an international killing spree, brush that under the rug. No big deal. John Walker did what he thought was right in the heat of war. What's ironic is, the same government that dragged him through the mud gave him a new suit, new title, and a new mission. Literally the same day they fired him. One minute he's a national disgrace, the next he's getting upgraded like a damn iPhone. If they really thought he crossed the line, he wouldn't be field tested, he'd be in prison. They knew he didn't do anything wrong. They just didn't want the blood on their hands. Comment below your thoughts and reasoning. Having a judgment made without allowing John to make his case was a blatant violation of his rights, not just as a soldier, but as an American citizen. No formal trial, no defense. And look, military tribunals do mean defendants have less rights, but they are entitled to a defense. When John asked to speak, the senator cut him off, made it clear this wasn't a negotiation, and threatened him with indefinite military confinement if he pushed back. That's not justice, that's scapegoating. They needed someone to take the fall, and they chose the guy who did the job a little too well. Comment below your thoughts and reasoning.
Who's stronger than steel? U.S. agent. Not a dancing ad, he's the real replacement. He took the fall and still stands tall. He wasn't a myth, he was muscle and grit. One swing too hard and they threw a fit. Who's stronger than steel? U.S. agent. Not a dancing ad, he's the real replacement. He took the fall and steel. Who's stronger than steel? U.S. agent. Not a dancing ad, he's the real replacement. He took the fall and still stands tall. A soldier's edge, not a Boy Scout doll. They gave him the shield, then pulled it back fast. Said you're no cap, like he couldn't last. Steve got worshipped, Walker got tried. Same damn job, but one got fried.